Hi there, it's Karen here from Turquoise Treasures. Welcome back to my channel and to working once more at my lovely little paper bag journal. I'm really enjoying this. It's something really different, but it's really coming together nicely, I think. So we've done a little bit of ephemera. We really need to crack on and make some more today. So I've got 2 pockets I need to make, and I'm going to do 2 tags, one in each of these pockets. So I did quickly measure up. I think they need to be about 3.5 inches wide. So I'm just going to find something to go in each of the pockets. Going back to my masterboards. So I've got this one, which I think would go really well. I was thinking this piece here. I'm just wondering, let me just see where it would take me, the 3.5 inches, because I don't really want to cut her in half or anything like that. So 3.5 would take me to about there. I wonder. So I'm cutting it a bit fine, really. I don't know if I'd want to cut off. Let's see how that would look. That would probably be okay, and then I'd have a funny shape here, but no, that's not a problem really. So that's an option, because that's a really pretty section there. That's one option. I've also got this piece, which was cut off from the original one. I think the rest of that one is too short, because if it went that way, it wouldn't go far enough in. So that's the right way around. So it would go in like that. So that'd be about the right length. I'd only need to trim it a little bit, probably at the top. Let's have a look at the width. 3.5 inches would take us to about there. So that'd be along something like that. That would actually look all right, I think. That would look quite nice there. Yeah, maybe that would be the one to do. So for the first, I think for the first one I'm going to use this, because that leaves me a nice another usable piece for another tag if I need it. I could use either of these pieces and I could see which one looks best. So I think I'll go with that. Only because I think I'd quite like to use this whole piece as a journal card somewhere else in the journal, just because that makes a really nice journal card on its own. So that's for that one. And then for this one, so that'll be for the top one, and for the bottom one, because that's a bit more floral and pink, I thought I might go for some of this one, because that's going to be a bit more neutral, and that would go perhaps nicely in here. So I think that's the plan, and I don't think it matters where I cut it there. It's going to look okay. So let's start with this one. I don't want to take too much time over this. I really want to get some things done today if I can. But best laid plans and all that, you know what I'm like. I always take far too long over everything. So now, which side do I want to use? I think I want to use this side. So let's go 3.5 and just trim it there. I don't know how it'll get on with this bit of fabric. We will see, won't we? Oh. Went through the fabric okay. Struggling with the zip, bit of welly. Struggling with the lower part. And actually, this isn't a bad size either. How wide is that? 3 and 3 1/8 roughly. So that's not a bad size for another tag. Let's have a look at this one. So yeah, I'll keep this handy. There's no point me keep putting this away at the moment, because I will need to trim it down a little bit, I think. Let's see how long it is. So it's going in there. So I'm going to need to trim it about here, I think. Trim it about there. Okay. And now I want to cut it into a tabs and tags, I get them all mixed up. A tag shape using my card, which I had here somewhere. Needless to say, it's now disappeared. How does that happen? Somebody tell me how that happens. You put something... Ah, because I put it on the other side. I thought it was on this side and it wasn't. It was on this side. Right, so I'm going to need a slightly larger corner cut because this is a wider. So do I want this one? Actually, I'm not sure I do want a really big one. Maybe that one would be sufficient. Let's have a look. Doesn't look quite big enough, does it? Which one should I choose? That one? Yeah, I think that one. That one will do it. Hold it in place. And do the same on the other side. That's it. Right, so we have a tag. And I think I am going to want to sew around it. You knew I was going to say that, didn't you? Whether I sew around it after I've decorated it or before. Depends how. Not quite sure how I'm going to decorate it. I've got one or two ideas, but often they don't quite work out the way you think. Right, so although it's a wide tag, it's not a particularly long tag. So let's see. I was thinking I was going to have to go for a really long focal point, but I'm not sure I do. So in my usual way, I reached for my pot of vintage ladies, vintage people, and I was looking through these, but I don't know which one I prefer. I like these very much. I think these are all Artie Mae's. Artie Mae's, I think she calls it Beautiful Ladies, and I think there's more than one set. This is either set 1 or set 2, I can't remember. I've only got one set, but I can't remember which one it was I bought. So I rather like her. She's so stylish. With a beautiful hat. They all are, they're beautiful. So let's see. I need to cut this piece off. I don't like that bit at the top. Right, so that could go there. I want to put something behind. I really feel like I want to add a little bit more pink. Not too much. I need to go and have a look. Right, so I pulled out some bits of lace and a few other little bits and pieces, bits of fabric. And I think what I would quite like, I realised that on here it says Plaintree Restaurant and Tea Lounge, and I thought she looks like just the sort of lady who might have gone to a tea lounge. So I didn't really want to cover that up, so I've moved the photo up a little bit, or the picture up a little bit, and I just want to put this beautiful pink rose across the corner there. I don't think I need to worry about Plaintree Restaurant until I just wanted to keep the tea lounge bit visible. So let's do that. And let's see if we can find a piece of lace that might work. So I've got some very pale, quite wide lace. I don't know whether that would... Might come back to that, I'm not sure. I did wonder about this quite narrow lace. I did try this one, which I think would go, almost go, but it wasn't quite where I wanted it to go down here, and it just was almost the same colour, so I wanted something that was a little bit more of a contrast. So I thought I might try this. which is quite a pale pink. I might just pop that down there. Let's have a look, see what we think. Is that wide enough? That's the question. I'm not at all sure it is. It's quite pretty, might be enough. I think because we've got such a lot going on in the background, maybe it will be enough. And I need to add something else up here as well. So move that up a little bit. I think I'll cut it to about, if I can get my scissors in, about there. I've also got this, I haven't used this yet. Look at this gorgeous, really wide lace. I really want to use that somewhere. It's very pale, but it would look nice down the middle of something, wouldn't it? Don't know if I'll get to use it or not, but I got it out just in case. So if I pop that there, and that there, and that's there. Okay, that's a start. And again, this is another really pretty one that would look lovely down the middle of a tag or something. Maybe the next tag, if it's not too pale, that's the question. Look good on something a bit darker behind. Right, so what we need, so this I like. We need a little something up here. So whether we go for a label, I've got a whole bunch of various bits of these. Most of these are Shabby Dabby Doodle, just because she does quite a lot of ephemera with her kits, but also ephemera kits, that's too big. Ephemera pieces on their own. So I wondered about some of her bits. Really big butterfly. It's almost not quite the right colour, really. What about that one? Does it show up enough? That's almost too neutral, I don't know. A whole bunch of flowers. I think these are Pink Monarch Prince flowers, I think. I could put something like that behind, going over the top, maybe a bit like that. Is that too floral? Well, I haven't got that much floral on there, have I? May get rid of this piece. I do want to cut this up a little bit more so that it just goes down a little further. And I may trim off that big piece. So I think maybe that would look. Now I will do something with this middle and cut these little rosebuds off because they're almost like horns, aren't they? Maybe I'll do something like that. Just tone it down a little by maybe cutting that off. And I'm going to cut out this middle piece, trim it down and ink it, and then I'll be back. Right, so I've now done that. I've just trimmed it down. I just used a little pair of nail scissors. They're not the most sharpest scissors you can find, so it was a bit of a struggle to cut out my little centre of the flower, but I managed it in the end. And I've just inked around it a little bit just to knock back the white. And I'm just going to pop that behind here, see how that looks. I also cut off one of the bits of the extra bit of leaf that I thought I didn't need. So let's just see how that looks. It's quite flimsy now. I've cut it all up a bit, but actually like that maybe. It looks quite nice. So I think that goes there. Maybe I'll angle it just a little bit because I do want to put a bit of a topper on. So maybe I should do it a bit more like that. And then I pulled out a few bits of fabric. I've used some of these bits on the masterboards, so I thought I'd see if I could find one that would make a nice little topper. That one maybe. This is a nice one. It's a nice colour match. That's a definite possibility. A bit of pink damask, which is the wrong way around anyway. I'll obviously have to straighten it up a bit. It's a terrible shape. There's that one. And this is the piece that was actually on the board underneath. It's got a little, oh, there's another piece here. Too pale. This piece was on the, is under the lady. I think actually the colours on this might be the best combination to go with what else is on here. I might use a piece of this, obviously not all of it. I think that's the one I want to use. So let's stick the rest of the bits on and then do our tab. Right, there we are. I think I just need to do a bit of gluing here. Right, that's one ready to go. And let's have a go at doing one more for the other pocket. Right. Right, as I mentioned, I'm going to use this piece, this masterboard, for my other tag, and I needed to make it 3.5 inches wide. So in order to do that, I'm just going to pop that under here and cut that at 3.5 inches. There we go. Go through a couple of times because it's quite thick. Are we through? Not quite everywhere. There we go. That's better. And then, oh, I'll just pop it in the pocket. At least I hope this is the same width. I forgot to check whether it was the same. Oh well, we'll see, won't we? How wide it is. If I have to make it a bit narrower, that's all fine. Which way round should it go? That way in. It fits. I could have made it a bit wider, I suppose. Put it right in and mark the edge of where it needs to come to. Is that ending up longer than the other one? Not sure. That'd be interesting, wouldn't it? If one ended up longer than the other. Right. Where is my mark? Trying to find the mark where I was going to cut it. It's cutting it there. Okay, I'm just trying to decide whether that's the bit I want or this top bit is the bit I want. I was thinking I wanted the top bit, didn't I? If I cut it there, it's going to be the top bit. No. I wanted the other end. So, do it again. Put it in upside down in order to get it where I want it. Right, this time I'll cut it that way. that's it. And then I've got an interesting pocket or journal card. Right. Let's see how it matches the size of this one. No, it's the same. That's all right then. I think I'm going to use the same corner marker, whatever you call this card. And again. Difficult to hold because it's so wide. I can't hold it from the side. I have to hold it from above. Get the angle right. That's the key. I think that's about right. Yeah, I think that's okay. Right. Once again, just going to give it a little ink round. I thought for this one I might use some of these. These are the circles from Shabby Dabby Doodah. So she does a kit with different size circles, and you get floral circles, and you get ones that have got vintage images, including butterflies and birds and ladies and all sorts of things, and they're different sizes, and I've got to find the right size. I think these might be too small. This might be the size. I thought I'd quite like to do the floral ones. That's the same flower, maybe that one. Although I do like her. I'm always drawn to the beautiful ladies. I don't know why. I just think they're just so elegant, and I don't know. Maybe something like that even. Combination of the two. Something like that. Quite like that. Are there any more? There aren't so many of the larger size. I've got these giant ones as well, really big ones. But I don't think the blue works. I've not really gone for any blue in this, which for me, blue and green are always the colours I like. I tend to be drawn towards, so I'm trying to be really different and not do any blue in this. But none of these blues go with what I'm working on anyway. No. So, I don't know if there's any other ones that size. Let's see, I haven't cut them all out. I've got a few left to cut out, but I don't know if any of them are that size. Lots of small ones. Quite a few medium-sized ones, this size, but very few of those very large ones, which are the ones I quite like on here. So I think we'll work with what I've got. I might just do them just as I've done them on here. I do quite like that. Just wish there were a few more to choose from, really. But never mind. Right. Okay, so if we're going to do those, do we want to put something behind them? I come back to my idea of using a piece of this. Oops. I'm wondering how that would look behind. It might not be quite wide enough, and the other one that oops, sorry, I'm just going to get off my chair properly. The other one I showed you is just a bit too wide. Let's just see. Is that going to work with the... Just turn it one more time so it's not pulling. Which way around does that go? No, it's not wide enough. I wonder if I've got anything in a cream that's a bit wider. I couldn't find any lace that was wider than this, so I'll just take this out. But what I did wonder was whether to put some either side and make it meet in the middle, if that would work. And I remembered I have this lovely coffee coloured lace that maybe that would work. I can see I'm going to get through all of this in this journal because I like it so much. And I wondered if a bit on that side and then just have another piece going the other way. Let's try it. Keep putting these bits on. Where'd the other one go? It's under there, isn't it? I know. I'm sure you were telling me. So that go like that. And what we need to do is make sure it shows on the outside of both sizes. Something like that. Yeah, that is down the middle, isn't it? Let's try this, because I like that. I don't think I need it quite as long as that, do I? Do I need it right down to the end? We'll see. Cut it back here. Let's take these off for a second. Right. And put some the other way around. Oop. Need to just straighten it this side. Didn't cut that very straight. Okay, that's a bit better. Right. Well, maybe that'll be okay. I don't really want to see a gap. Yeah, I think that might look alright. Right, let's do it. Let's just do it. Quite nice to use these circles. I haven't really used them very much. But they work quite well if you do them in a row or something on a tag. They work quite well. On a narrower tag I'd have used the smaller ones. I may still on another tag if I don't know quite what I'm going to put on other parts, in other parts of the journal. But I think that looks quite nice. And all I need to do now is put my little topper on. So let's see. What do we do that? Because that'll just pick up all the pretty pinks. Is that a bit too long? Let's see. About the same as the other one? Yeah, it's about the same, so I'm just going to do that. And then I will take them to my sewing machine and finish them off. The reason I didn't do them before off camera was because I wanted to sew over the top of the tabs. Just makes them a bit more secure, especially if they're going to be used to pull these in and out. Can't get this, there we go. Can't get the piece of string off my fingers. Yes, if they're going to be used to pull in and out, I think I'd feel happier if they were sewn on. Even though I'm putting a bit of glue, quite a bit of glue in fact. Oh, that's not very straight, is it? Just trim that off a little bit. Right, so I'm going to go and sew around these and then we'll put them in the little journal. And then we'll move on to something else. Right, so those two tags have now been sewn around and I love how they look. I'm really pleased with how they've turned out. So this one pops in here like that. A little tab sticking out. And this one will go in here. And that's got a pretty tab sticking out as well. So yeah, loving those. And then on the back, we've got this big pocket. I think when I was going through it before, I kept referring to it as two pockets. I don't know why, but it is one big pocket. And if you remember, on that piece of masterboard, there was a piece that I thought I might cut off at some point to use as a journal card. Well, I thought this was the perfect moment to do that. And also, I just because I wasn't planning to do anything more with it, I have cut that and sewn around that one as well while I was at it. Had the sewing machine out. Seemed like a good opportunity to just make that journal card. I don't think it needs anything else. I think she's beautiful as she is. If I think might need something else, I might put something on it, but at this moment in time, I would really like to just move on because I want to do something in this big pocket here. And unsurprisingly, I'm going to make a little booklet or mini journal, I suppose. To go in there because I need something that's going to really fill the space. And I'm not sure that one journal card, a single journal card, is quite going to be enough. So I'm going to do a mini journal. And I pulled out some 12 by 12 scrapbooking paper. Now I have packed most of my scrapbooking paper. In fact, I had to go and pull these back out again because I've already packed them away in boxes. But I hadn't closed any of the boxes, so I pulled out some of my a box of scrapbooking papers and picked these three out, thinking that they might well go in this space. Now this is a really pretty pink floral. This is a 49 and Market, and it's from the Bold and Beautiful collection. It's a beautiful paper, and it's got this on the other side. Although I'm not sure whether it should be that way around. That appears to be like that. But then the writing's that way around, so it could go either way, I think. But I think I quite like it that way for some reason. It just feels like that's the right way round. Anyway, that's that one. I've also got this one, which I really love, and I think the colours are perfect to go on here. This is a Blue Fern Studios paper. Now, Blue Fern Studios is really hard to get hold of over here. And I just managed to get a handful of papers a while ago, and then I've been hoarding them, of course, because I can't bring myself to use them. They're just so lovely, and they've got to be used in the right context, really, because they're quite thick. So I thought perfect for a journal cover, perfect colours, except on the back it's not that perfect. It's kind of, this bit's fine, this bottom half, but for the height I'd need to cut it. I'm going to have to cut it about here, and I have all this blue tone at the top here, and I just thought that, well, it's a real shame, but I don't think it will work. Even if I kept the branding strip, I still think I'm going to need some of this. So I'm going to hang on to it, keep it around. I might use it for something else, but sadly it's not going to do for this journal cover, which makes me sad. There is also this piece, which is also a Blue Fan Studios one from a different collection. This one is from Happy Accident, which is a really lovely collection. I managed to get quite a few of these, and I have used some. That's called Fortuity. This is from the In the Mood collection. It's actually, yeah, it is quite thick. It's not quite such a bold colour, but it works quite well with this. It's got the nice blue, pink flowers. It's extremely neutral, but very pretty on the back. The colours are good. What on earth is that? That's weird. Right, sorry about that. Yeah, that's also a real possibility. I really like it. I'm beginning to rethink by now, because I had more or less decided on the first one, on this floral, but now I'm beginning to wonder. Of course, this one would need quite a bit of embellishment because it is so neutral here, but at the same time, with this very busy pocket, it might be just perfect, actually. Okay, so maybe rethinking. I'm not sure. And what I thought I'd use inside it, I don't know if you remember, if you saw my wedding guest book that I made for my daughter, I had 2 signatures that didn't go with the third signature, and I had to put them aside. But the papers go really well in here, perfect size. So this is one of those 2 signatures. It was already folded and ready to go and trimmed and everything. So I think I'm going to use that. So it's a case of which paper now goes best with this signature. So if I put that inside there, is that going to go? It's actually not bad. I thought it might be just too neutral, too plain. I don't know. Let's have a look at the other side of this one. Do you know what? I think in the end I'm going to go with this one. I think that's what I'm going to do. I think I would like to, I even consider, oh no, that's not going to work. No, I'm going to have to take off the branding strip. I'd even taken off the branding strip off this one because I thought that's the one I was going to use, and now I've changed my mind. So I don't think we'll manage to finish it. Now I'm going to have to embellish it a bit. I won't get that done in this video, but if I can just try and make the actual basic booklet in this video, and then we can get it decorated and finished up in the next video, can't we? I mean, there's no real rush to finish this off. It's just I don't want you to get bored with doing the same thing each week. And obviously I want to get it done before I move, but I have got a bit of time yet. Because you'll be seeing this, it'll be already October by the time you see this video, but it's not October for me yet. I'm still in the middle of September, so I've got a bit of time to make a few more of these, and I'm enjoying it so much. I'm loving how it's going. I'm loving the colour. I'm really enjoying working with this colour scheme, which surprises me a bit, but there we go. You never can be sure. Right, so what I think I need to do, I need to cut this. Now I think the height of this I decided was, now I've forgotten. I think I was going to do about 8 1/4. Yeah, otherwise it's a bit, 8 1/4 I think height wise works for me. So let's cut it. then I want to score it at 5.5. Because I think it's just a little bit, I think because the signature is a little smaller than a normal size signature. I had already trimmed it a fraction in preparation to go into the guest book. Right, so there we are. Let's just see how that fits. Yeah, that'll be absolutely fine in there. And we can always do a little bit of embellishment and fatten it up a little. So that's that. And then we've just got to put our signature. Ooh. It's about the same size. In fact, I could have made the cover a bit bigger, I think. Look at that. But never mind. I think I might actually trim down the signature a little bit because I think it's a little... Ooh. I think I need to just trim that down just a tiny bit. So I've gone ahead and cut this down and scored it, and then I just did the corners as well just to soften it. Right, so I was about to sew in the signatures and I thought, well, it looks a little plain, doesn't it? So I'm thinking I might do a little bit of stenciling, as we've been doing a bit of stenciling, and I'm using the same two stencils that I used before, partly because I like them and I think, you know, they worked quite well on that masterboard, and partly because I've packed all the rest. All I've kept out of my stencils so at the moment is all my Tim Holtz ones, which are on a ring on my Raskog. All the others are packed in a box, and I thought, well, I'm not going to keep getting stuff out. But I'm quite happy with these anyway. These were the ones I wanted to use. So I think I'm going to actually even put a little bit on the cover as well. So I'm going to start with just going to do a little bit in the corners here and there, or down the side, just a little bit on each page, or not on even every page, but maybe on every other page, just to brighten it up a little bit. Right, so I finished doing all the all the stenciling. Brain's gone. And unfortunately my battery died while I was in the middle of doing it, but actually I think you saw enough to see where it was going, and I'll just go through and show you what how it ended up. So this is, so I've ended up doing a little bit on each side, on each page, just because they looked a bit bare and blank. So I'll just flick through so you can just see the bits of stenciling here and there, mixing up the two stencils. Sometimes just a tiny bit, and a bit different places, sometimes in the corners, sometimes at the sides. And this one is the middle page, so I did that right down the middle. So I thought that would look quite cool. And then a little bit on those two pages. So yeah, I couldn't help myself. I just did a little bit on every page in the end. I hope you can see that. Okay. And then right at the back, so I matched. There's not the same, it's not exactly the same stencil, but I thought it'd be nice to have a flower on the inside cover as well. So I actually did that. By the time I'd done all that, it was because it's getting a little bit, the days are beginning to draw in a little bit. The light was going, so I've ended up leaving it till this morning now. I'm the next morning to finish off, just because I felt like the light wasn't good enough to really carry on. So all I've done this morning really is I've just inked a little bit around all the sides of the cover. I've used warm lipstick and a bit of vintage photo, although the warm lipstick is stronger because it's an oxide, so you can't really see the vintage photo very much. But I wanted to bring a bit more of the pink into the cover, as it's quite neutral in its colour scheme, and I'm going to decorate this a bit more, but that'll have to be in the next video because I don't think we're going to have time to do it in this video. But the other thing I thought was it could do with possibly a few more pages in it. So I've just pulled out a few other bits and pieces just to slot in between the decorated pages. So I've just got another 5 pages. So there's 5 here, and I've got another 5 because I thought it just needed fattening up a little bit. Excuse me. So I've got some coffee dyed paper and some avocado dyed paper. That's those 3. And this is a piece of vintage ledger which I had in my scraps, and this is some more coffee dyed lined paper. So I just want to pop these in between the other pages. So I want to keep the front and the outside one and the middle one together. So I think I might, no, I think I'll put the coffee dyed one in here. Oh, I do apologise, I've got the voice a bit dry, and I seem to have a little bit of a tickle when I'm filming. I don't know why. So I want to keep those pages together, and then just centralise that a little bit there. And then this one, and I just did a little flap on that one. I might glue it down for a tuck at some point, and then we had to tuck a little something in there maybe. I may end up doing the odd pocket here and there. I'm not going to over embellish this because it doesn't need it. So that one there. Maybe put this one in. And this one in here. That's it. Oh, I've got another one there, haven't I? I wonder... Put that one there. And let's see if I can squeeze one more in. I don't really want to put one in the middle because I don't want to lose this. So I think that looks nice all together. Maybe what I'll do. Maybe I'll put this one here. And this one maybe this one. Something like that. And that just gives it a little bit more body. Let's see, they're all where I want them to be. I want to move this one down a touch. This one's all right. Doesn't really matter too much where this one ends up. And this one. No, they're fine. They're all where I want them, I think. So, all we need to do now is sew them in. Let's just get my ruler. Do my bit of tamping down in the middle. Now I've just got to make sure it's central to the book. And the pages are more or less lined up. And I'm just going to put some clips on them, I think. Now, just going to pretty much do this by eye here. I'm only going to do the 3-hole pamphlet slip stitch in this one. One there. And one there. Right, I'm just going to put the all through each hole again just to make sure it's a big enough hole to put my needle through. Because I use such a fat needle, it needs to be a decent sized hole. Now, so this is just a little bit below centre because I didn't want to be in the middle of the letter, so I don't think it's a problem. I've just got to measure my wax thread. I'm going to use this quite nice, almost looks like twine, but it is wax thread. Do that, 3 lengths of that, or three times the length of the book is what I meant, as you probably knew. And I've got my big fat needle, and I use a big fat needle because it's got a big fat eye. It makes it easier to thread. Just passes straight through. Makes life easier. Right, let's do this. So after doing the 5-hole pamphlet stitch, the last couple of journals that I've made, or a couple of items that I've made, it should be a doddle doing 3-hole, shouldn't it? Should be. But because the needle's so fat, it's a bit of a battle to get it through. There we go. So I will have to cover the spine because it does make rather large holes. can never get it back through. It's always my problem. For some reason the paper is not lining up so well. Come on. There we are. And then try and remember what I do. Go back up there, don't I? And once you go through, I think the alignment has slightly slipped. Don't know why that happens, but it always seems to. There we are. Maybe I should try with a slightly thinner needle. It does make the holes very fat and makes it difficult to get things through. So, right. Just going to hold the thread the other side, try and hold it aside while I put the needle back through. And it's come through on the wrong side, so just pull it back a little bit, just pop that over to the other side, and then we're through. In theory, the more I do these things, the easier it should get. Doesn't feel that way. I think it probably has got a little easier. Of course, this isn't like doing a full-size journal. It's got a much thinner cover for a start. Do a little bow on this one. Don't want a great big fat bow, I just want a little one. There we are. So, this journal should now just put it in the pocket, see how it looks. And then in the next video we will do a bit of decoration. I'll definitely put some lace on the spine and maybe do a little bit of something inside, I'm not sure. Let's just flatten this down a bit so it lies nice and flat. Bring in the journal. There we are, this is the pocket. It should go in there nicely. Now, ideally it would go in that way because that's the way it should look, but I don't really want the pages to be open on the outside, so I'm going to have to turn it over, pop it in that way. There we are. And then what I want to do, which I don't think I have really time to do in this video, but in the next one we're going to put some eyelets here and some sari silk to tie it together to keep the journal in the pocket, stop it slipping out. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a little closure here. So we're going to decorate the little journal, do the closure, and then with any luck, move on and do a few more things for the pockets. I can see there's lots more to do still in this journal. Lots and lots. So I may end up doing some of it off camera. I may not get it done before I move, I don't know. There's an awful lot still to do. So let's just see how it goes. Right, it's getting quite fat now. With that journal, it has fattened things up a bit, that's for sure. Yeah, so we'll need the closure just to keep things together. Right, so thank you very much for joining me today. And please do join me again for the next one. Bye.